Guys, what is up? Today I am doing What If Deku ate the Mera no Me, and I want to thank you guys. We have made it to 500 subscribers and still rising, so thank you for the support, and I hope you guys will like this What If and continue to subscribe and share my videos. So without any further ado, let's get back into it. So last time we left off, Ace bumped into Hashira, which is his brother, but he doesn't know that. Ace is pissed off, but instead directs his attention to Uraraka and flies down to help her. He removes the rubble off her and carries her away, and after doing so, he looks back to see that Hashira aims for the weak point of the giant robot, which is like the red looking core at its head, and it did stop, but now it is tipping over and it's about to fall, with the few students who still haven't gotten out of the range of where it's gonna fall. So at that moment, Ace then blasts off the ground, shooting fire out of his hands, and speeds past Hashira and lands on the robot's head and uses combustion in a wide scale, meaning that he covered the entire body of the robot, which took a lot of energy. This does still create like a huge explosion, even though it was a dome holding in the fire. He was still a little bit exhausted, and luckily nobody got hurt, so yeah. And then President Mike announced that the test was over. And after the exam ends, Luffy and Sabo and Ace meet up back at the Marine base, with them being sure that they passed. A few days after, the three get a letter mailed to their house. One of the sidekicks that was in the base hands the letter off to them, and they go to Luffy's room to open the letter. And when they do, they see a disc and it pops out a hologram of All Might, and it surprises all of them, but then they calm down and they put it down on the table and hear that they are indeed being put into UA and have gained a lot of points in their blocks respectively, with Ace having 133 points and Sabo has 117 and Luffy has 95, which makes them the top 3 highest scores in the exam. Of course, Luffy is sad that he is in 3rd place and says that next time something like this happens, he is definitely beating the both of them. And then the next week, they still have to do a lot of work because they still are sidekicks, and then they're still even though they're supposed to be resting, Garp is a selfish asshole and doesn't care and makes them work anyway. And some of the seniors be like playing with them, like, you know, playful playing, not bullying them, saying maybe you should just quit while you're at it. And of course they're not going to, because they have a goal not to only become #1 heroes, but to beat each other to see who will actually be #1. So there's no way they're giving up on that. The first day of UA arrives, and the three storm out onto the safer routes and using their quirks to race. And of course, since they have temporary hero licenses and are sidekicks, they won't get in trouble for using their quirks. And they arrive at UA pretty hyped up for their day. Soon they get to the entrance of the 1A classroom, and Sabo says, "Geez, I wonder what kind of monsters are in our classrooms for them to need a door this big." Ace then opens the door to see Hisashi being scolded for insulting students, and Bakugo for putting his feet on the desk. As the conversation progressed, Hisashi was getting annoyed and tells Ida to shut up, calling him a mob, and started being disrespectful, and then formed something similar to the Rasengan in his hands, which is literally just wind, you know, just with more pressure on it, and was about to hit Ida. But then out of nowhere, Ace pops up in between, grabbing his wrist and telling him to stop. Then Kaminari in the back says, "Hey, it's the 3 terrors." And Ace and Sabo and Luffy say in unison, "Don't call us that," because obviously they don't like the nickname. Being called the 3 terrorists isn't exactly a good thing since they want to be heroes. Luffy says, "I can't believe people still call us that." Then suddenly, Hisashi's activated wind orb dissipates, which surprises him and scares him because he didn't deactivate it. Then they all look back at the podium around the middle of the classroom to see Aizawa with this quirk activated, and tells them all to sit down. And after a while, things settled down with Aizawa saying his famous line that it took them this long to calm down and this is not okay, and then sends everyone outside with their special uniforms. Once they step outside, Aizawa hands the ball to Ace since he came in first, which pisses off Hashira and Bakugo. And by the way, Hashira and Bakugo will not be best friends. In case you guys were wondering, Bakugo is still Bakugo. He doesn't like people who act mighty and tall, and since Hashira is from the Midoriya family, he does have a big ego, and nobody likes that. Not even Bakugo would like that. So Ace grabs the ball and cocks his fist back and then throws the ball, releasing a spear of fire, and yells, "Fire Fist!" And this sends the ball about 1,500 meters, which makes everyone's jaws drop except for obviously Sabo and Luffy. And then Ace says, "Hey Sabo, I bet you can't beat that." And in this test, I'm gonna make it slightly different by making them do that test first before they do everything else. So the ball throwing test, everyone's gonna do that first, and it's not just a demonstration. So Sabo gets 864 meters, Luffy gets 898 because of his stretching abilities. And if you've seen Luffy's attacks, when he pulls back his fist and his arms, that shit goes so far, I swear. If you get hit by that, you will see just red. So everybody else gets the same thing as in the original and gets the same scores, with Uraraka getting infinity, which is pretty surprising. But Hashira gets close to Ace's score, getting 1,350, and that's pretty impressive. So yeah, after this happens, people start to get really hyped up and think that it could be fun until Aizawa drops the news that the last person will be expelled. And the rest of the test goes the same, with the trio dominating everyone due to their already abnormal strength, and Ace is placed first with Sabo and Luffy tied, and Hashira in third place, and Bakugo in fourth, and Todoroki in fifth. After the test ends, no one is expelled because despite Mineta having the last score, Aizawa saw some potential, and honestly, I don't know why people favor Invisible Girl over Mineta. I'm not even sure how she got into the academy, but Aizawa let her not get expelled because, well, she has an invisibility quirk. That's pretty awesome for recon missions. Aside from that, she failed almost every test, but her quirk was very useful, so that's why he let her stay. And they head back and they do some school stuff, actual school stuff, and study for a while, and then they decide to leave. And before everyone leaves, Ace actually realizes that he has to take a shit, and and then tells the two to head back to base by themselves while he's taking care of some business. After a few, he feels relieved and starts to head back, and surprisingly meets Bakugo on the way, who asks him who he really is because his face is very familiar. And that's where I'm leaving it off. I hope you guys like this what if. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be posting a new what if, one that I just thought up after this one. Hopefully I get to release it soon. Usually I like to update a lot, as you guys can see, but I don't know when I'm gonna post this one, and I might have to take a little hiatus, so I hope you guys don't get mad at me. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you for 500 subs. I cannot thank you enough. We have made it this far only after 2 months, so yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.